Noel Nation. Welcome into another episode of the Renegade Rundown. I've got my girl with me, Jen Santy, aka Jen Santy 1890, Deshawn Adams at Deshawn Adams 18. Find those guys, both of them on X. Make sure you follow them over there. I'm at Renegade Report 1 on X, of course, the Renegade Report right here on YouTube. And we'll open up the show with what's hot on everybody's mind. There is a quarterback controversy in Tallahassee. Luke Kromenhoek has reported to be planning to enter the portal for different reasons, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But as mad as people are at that, I think they're equally as parts mad at Thomas Castellanos being crystal balled to the Florida State Seminoles. Of course, Gus Malzahn has been officially hired as the coordinator, recruited him to UCF up there, ended up being behind John Rice Plumlee, came down to Boston College for an opportunity and a system that fit him a bit better. Did pretty good, tore our ass up a little bit last year, almost cost us a game at the beginning of the year. Turns around, has Bill O'Brien coming, the guy who told Jalen Milroe to go play wide receiver. Bama said, all right, they got him out of the paint, and Jalen Milroe was a Heisman contender that year. The rest is history. I got on here and made the arguments for how much better Jordan Travis was than Jalen Milroe. He's a glorified running back. I made all those points, and I think that came to bear a little bit with Bama this year when it needed to be a little bit more on the quarterback's shoulders, and it wasn't just the Saban offense rolling downhill. That being said, the second we started talking about Gus Malzahn ends up being the coordinator here. You've got a guy who's got 1 year left. He played as a true freshman at UCF and then a sophomore, junior year at Boston College. Obviously not that great this year, but there is not a more perfect quarterback to plug and play to this offense. Is there one with a higher upside? Is there one that maybe has a better NFL draft stock future, et cetera, et cetera? Yeah. But your odds of getting those dudes coming in here, I've been saying from the jump, it's like, no. Thomas Castellanos, if he comes in here, God forbid, Thomas Castellanos and what he proves this offense could potentially be, like what we talked about, you got to go win 7 games this year. Well, he won 7 for Boston College this year, even though he didn't play those last 2. Those were blowouts or whatever. I'm not here to say Thomas Castellanos is going to be a Heisman Trophy contender, going to take you to the ACC title next year. But for Gus Malzahn to get in here, get a quarterback committed, and be able to sell some kind of vision, we don't even have offensive linemen, like at all. We don't have any idea who's going to play offensive linemen. We got those guys coming to take visits now. It wouldn't doubt me if like there was some tampering and stuff going on before Gus even had left UCF or took the offer down here. Like, it was just too many stars aligning, too obvious of a thing for the staff to be able to go do. I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility now that Luke's left if they got another transfer quarterback, maybe one that's younger with a high rating. I don't think you necessarily need to do that. When you look at the numbers game of the room, you got the preferred walk-on, you got the Kevin Sperry kid you just brought in. Now you're obviously going to bring in a kid next year. Kids just don't stay around. We can talk about the number. It was reported early on that maybe he was pushing towards 7 figures, like at least $1 million to stay. You could see where if he was going to risk the future of his football career on this rebuild with a brand new offensive coordinator that he never would have signed on in the first place. If Gus Malzahn was here, let's be real, he was not going to come here out of high school. So I'll stop ranting. I'm, slightly on the plus side of this. I think in my mind, okay, guaranteed bowl game next year. And we'll see if somebody else can step up and overtake it or what happens. But I think it raises the floor of the program to at least 6-7 wins. Go ahead, Jen. I know you're disgusted with all this stuff.
Well, of course I'm disgusted. Why in the world do we need a kid from Boston College who was told thanks but no thanks? That's Boston College's sloppy seconds. I'm okay on that. And I don't really want to hear about how they gave us a scare last year. I don't, because the same people that told us, oh, wait, they gave us a scare last year, it's so bad, are the same people that said, well, it was a flu game. That's why he gave us a scare. Which one is it?
Well, he whooped our ass this year, just flat out.
Hold on. It's my turn. Everybody said that's a flu game. That's a fluke. All the things. And now we're supposed to be just swooning over this kid because he, ran over some flu teams? Which one is it? Did they have the flu or was he really good? Which one? I'm only asking a question. So yeah, no, I'm okay on this. If Luke wants to go, he wants to go. What I don't understand is these holier than thou people going, anybody who wants to criticize or anybody, just like Patrick Burnham over here, who used to beg me to come on his podcast. Oh, I don't think you were joking. I think you were taking a shot at the family. How about is this Minority Report? Are you in my brain? Dude, do we believe that it was over money that he decided to transfer? I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of fucking both. Do we think that if they would have offered him $1 million, he would have stayed here? Absolutely. So I don't want to hear it. Again, fans, by the way, and anybody who wants to tell anybody, fans need to shut up. Fans need to be respectful. Fans are the one paying for the fucking NILs. So at the end of the day, anybody's employer gets to say something, and people are working 3 goddamn jobs. They don't have this money. And for anybody to say, I mean, you're only paying $50 to $55 or whatever it is a month, that's a lot for some people. And how dare the hubris to sit there and say, I mean, it's not that much. You're not doing that much. How dare you? There are people who have to make a decision whether to put gas in their car or buy water or sodas or whatever, or food. Like, shut the fuck up. And they're coming out of this money out of their own goodwill. And for anybody to tell fans or whoever else that they don't have a say, kiss my ass, y'all are paid millions now. That's how it fucking goes. So if you don't like the criticism, don't put it out on social media. That's what I would say. Next, yeah, fans are not going to be happy about this. I'm not happy about it. I mean, I'll wait to see it before I continue to criticize it. But today, I'm going to say what I think. This is crap. And it's not going to be good. And now, maybe there was nothing you could do to keep Luke here. I would not, again, if I was a starter on a team that won 2 games, I wouldn't be asking for a bonus. But I mean, I can tell you right now, if I fucked up 95% of my reports at work, I'd be fired. I wouldn't be getting a raise. So again, this is crazy. It's wild, but it's the game that has been ruined. And that's all it is.
Well, I add this and I say this. Either way this shit goes, we'll be happy. If we win enough games to go bowling next year, we'll be happy. If they take Castellanos and it's a failure, Mike's the fuck up out of here. We'll be happy. So it's a win-win situation the way I see it. But just to add in more additions to the situation with Castellanos and the possibility of taking him, I'm not necessarily for it. I'm more on the Caden Salter. There's other names out there that you can do, look into that would fit. I can see where they're saying the fit would happen. You're going to have more of a 2023, 2022 UCF type offense with John Reyes Plumlee, where we're running the ball, but you're going to deter a lot of receivers in that situation. You're going to have them disinterested in even getting commits at times. It's the long game here, and it's more of the same. It looks like, let's put it this way. I was in a space today, and B-Mac stated it, and he said it and shared it, and it was so simple. And we've already said it. You play cheap games, you're going to end up with cheap-ass results. If this is what you're trying to do, and this is the situation where you're taking a quarterback on the cheap, then this is what's going to happen. You're going to end up with cheap-ass results. I don't understand why Mike knowingly is spinning the block on this particular quarterback who, when you recruited him out of high school, you wanted him as a running back. You're giving Gus a little too much leeway in this one here. I don't agree with it. I think the kid from Tulane, Caden Salter, you got a kid out there in New Mexico that you could probably try to maybe tamper with. You got the kid at Marshall, who is also a great dual threat. Better numbers, better situation. We can talk about what Castellanos did in 22. We can talk about some of the situations he did here, did this past season or this season. Long story short, when it comes to the total game and what we need done, he's not the answer. And I don't understand why they're prioritizing him as the quarterback and they're not even looking at line yet. But that's all I have to say on that part. to touch on what you said, Jen, and I'm not going to go too deep into it. We need our players to stay the fuck off social media. We need our parents to teach your kids, stay the fuck off social media. We need our fan base to grow the fuck up and stop chasing every little fucking source of information. You're acting like thirsty whores out here. And every reaction that every little person that hits the portal, you acting like a feminine little bitch. And I'm just going to put it out there because I've seen so many posts and it's ridiculous. It's sickening, Jen, it's sickening. It's ridiculous. You got grown men out here thirsty for 17-year-old boy information. You know what they call them, right? And that's all I'm going to say. That's a nasty job and it's nasty work watching what our fan bases become. They react to every fucking situation. I wonder if some of these grown-ass men and women react to their own children this emotionally. I'm a father of 4. I got my own children. Those are the only boys I'm crying over. Anybody else? I'm not. That's not my son. But I really do need our parents, our players' parents. Keep your kids off social media and keep your ass off social media if it's argumentative. This is how football and fandom works. Fan is short for fanatic. You already know you're going to get the good with the bad. You can't celebrate and cheer when it's good, and then when you get the bad results, now y'all want to go at each other's necks and you want to fight the fan base. Stay the fuck off social media. I miss Jimbo about it. I miss that shit about Jimbo.
Yeah, really no kidding.
Do. Keep these fucking kids off of social media. That's it.
Can I say one more thing? I just need to say one more thing. Yeah, anybody posting or being hateful when a kid says he's leaving underneath his actual post, stop it. Mm-hmm. Fucking stop it. If you yourself want to make a post, you don't tag anybody, whatever, and just whatever, that's fine because you're a fan. You're a fan. But don't sit there and attack someone on their own page, on their own feed, call them this, that, or the other. And please don't go after their mom and their dad. Like, let's not do that either. Like, that's ridiculous. But yeah, again, I said what I said. I think fans, we send in money. If they want to bitch, they're going to bitch. And I think they have a right to. But just don't do it under their own post. That's what I would say.
As soon as the NIL and all that came into this, a lot of that moral grandstanding has to stop. But yeah, at the same time, being a little bitch and like getting in your emotions, like you're actually angry with one of these players. Like when Cam Davis or somebody pops up in a chat, I'm not like, it makes me squirm that he would ever have to. I wish he just wouldn't. And I know he has great parents and all that, but like, even if I disagreed, am I going to reply to that with some like shit? No. It's just like, why? It's just gross. So yeah, I don't subscribe to that whatsoever. I get it if they're upset, but yeah, I wish we could go back in time to the early 2010s when you could just ban social media. I don't even know if you could do that with NIL and how these guys make money nowadays, but I would be all for social media ban. I totally,
because they're influencers.
I agree with how y'all, I feel your pain. I really wanted to keep Luke. He left. I think money or be damned, whatever, like it's just going to be tough for him to buy in and stay for this long haul. Compared to maybe get to be something in 26 or 27. He probably had an idea of coming in this year redshirting and then fighting for a job this year. And then to think to have to redshirt now after playing at the end of the year, you can't blame the kid. And maybe it was like, yeah, well, if you give me $1 million, I'll stay. But guys, I'm leaving. Something like that. And just to be fair, John Kromenhoek did come out and say that the Zach Bluestein report that he was pushing seven figures that was also teased earlier by Jason Staples and a couple other people was totally not true. It had nothing to do with NIL while he left. I don't believe either one of them. I don't think it had nothing to do with NIL. I think it's what I said is more likely. Like, even if it wasn't $1 million, like, okay, I'm going to buy in. Like, it has to be some kind of, whether it's I promise to get this many snaps this year or whatever the number is. I'm sure it was a combination of both. At the end of the day, he made a choice. Our expectations, the standard is the standard, all that stuff. I just think this coaching staff is much more focused on this year. And, as far as Castellanos, people saying, oh, it's another Golson. I take Everett Golson and 10 wins today, tomorrow, and next week, next year, if we can make that happen. If he can run around and win us the games that we just have better talent than in these ACC teams and pull a couple of them out of his ass, like I can't in my mind think of outside of Cam Newton, a Gus Malzahn quarterback that hasn't been a guy like him. And it sucks. I think we want to be able to meld what Mike Norvell does with what he does, get an NFL quarterback, and that's why it sucks losing Luke. But at the same time, for this season, I just can't fault him. I'm not going to go crazy. obviously it's up for debate. Like if they can go after somebody else and get him, if they can get Salter or somebody else, we'll see what happens. But I just think that's where I'm at on that. Anything more on that before we move to the next thing?
You got anything, Jen?
No, no, I guess not. I think that well, maybe I do. I think the whole like berating the fan base for being upset after what this fan base has gone through this last year is obscene. I think it's also obscene to think of a fan base who had to sit there with what they went through December 3rd of last year up until this year and then had to watch a 2-win team.
Like zero chance of that with Castellanos. Like maybe the 12 wins in the ACC championship is it, but there's no fucking way. Like maybe I'm wrong. Like I get that like you want to compare it to DJU
Did
and
you
it's
think
whatever, maybe along the money
hold
lines,
on.
but just even if he doesn't
Whoa.
throw a single pass, we could army
Did
this
you think
motherfucker
we
to
would
7
only
wins.
win 2 games? Did you think that beginning of this year that it would not
Nobody
be a
did.
zero possibility?
Nobody
you
did.
would
That's
only
what
win
I'm
2 games?
saying.
Okay.
Like it's the
So again, it
craziest
could
thing
still
that
happen. It could still
ever
happen.
happened. It's like it's not happening 2 years in a row. Like if you get a
Okay.
Kagan Salter in here, and for whatever
They're
reason
not
the
looking
pass
at
game
him.
just can't
They're
happen
not
and he
even
gets
looking
hurt
at
or
him.
something.
They're not looking at him.
Yeah,
It's
he's low on their
Castellanos.
board.
That's it.
He's low on
That's
their
it.
board.
Well, now he was supposed to be here this Friday on a visit, but obviously things have changed since Castellanos has got locked in. He's got 100%.
You know what? And let's put it this way: we cheered this fucking move last year. We should be more mature now.
It's just a totally different. It's apples to oranges.
Yeah,
like this isn't a guy who can't move his legs. Like,
but this
and
particular move,
he was in his perfect offense when we brought him. Like
this particular move is the same move we made last year. And what I'm not going to do is sit here like I did last year and sit idly by and be quiet about it. It's a fucking bad move. It's a dumbass move. You haven't.
It's complete opposite of last year, though. Last year we strung along to the very end and got a guy. They're doing the opposite this year. They're getting somebody in here that has proven he can go put on tape, goes and say, "This is what it's going to look like in my offense." That they're going to go get guys to block for. That's my take on it. But everybody gets a take. Tiny Hat's going to get up here and get a take in a minute. This is a contentious. Like, look, the fan base is in shambles. We're going to talk about it. You know, I knew I was probably going to be by myself on this between you guys. And y'all are totally founded. It's just to say I told you so. The second this hire got made, it was just was on the wall, and I was in for it. Some people have one toe in the water. I don't think Tiny had talking about 10 wins, so I don't know.
Man, first off, the Tiny Hat CEO has returned to the Renegade Rundown. What is going on, y'all? First off, why are y'all so mad up here? It's a whole bunch of shouting. I feel like I'm at Thanksgiving dinner and somebody brought a girlfriend over that don't nobody like, and she tried to get in all the pictures. All right, Thanksgiving was like 2 weeks ago. We better than this. Listen, you can say you ain't gonna do it, Deshawn. I'm gonna do it. I'm finna lie my ass off, okay? Thomas Castellanos, I don't care if it's Gino Torretta. Hell, we can dig up the bones of Fran Tarkenton and bring his old ass out here. I'm lying on behalf of whoever we get in here at quarterback because it can't be worse than what we saw already. It can't be worse than what we saw. We just won. We should have, if we would have played this season, we should have only won 2 games, is what I was told. Now, my team was on vacation, so I don't know what y'all saw, but I ain't see my team. My team was in Europe. They were looking at the Parthenon. They were over there enjoying Ibiza. They were out there on the French Riviera, so my team didn't play last year. But if they were to hypothetically play and it went horribly because of a portal quarterback and all types of other mismanagement, then they would only win 2 games. I could understand that. However, I don't think that that's what's going to happen here. What I see us doing is we got us an OC who's coming in with a scheme that is built for a player like Thomas. His new name is going to be Thomas Vick, because the first time he throw a 40-yard bomb and he take off for 30 yards, I'm telling you right now, I'm telling even more lies. Thomas Vick with a 30-yard gain. Look how fast that boy is. Oh my God, this is fantastic. Thomas Jackson, he is hauling ass over here, slinging the ball downfield. I'm lying on behalf of this young thug as much as possible. All right. Is he my first choice? Nope. Is Luke my first choice? Nope. You know why Luke ain't my first choice? Because we don't know what we're going to see out of Luke. And I blame this on the coach. We should have seen more from Luke last season. We didn't see a lot from Luke last season because they stuck with the already known commodity for entirely too long. So if Luke is upset and he wants to leave and he thinks he can find greener pastures because they brought in another player or they didn't want to throw him the bread or whatever it is, All right, Luke. Hey, look, you were here. You decided to get on up out the paint. Have a nice one. But you're going to bring me a quarterback in. I'm going to support the young man until he does something that says I shouldn't support him. We can say what we want, but we watched that dude up close and personal twice against two defenses that we put out there on the field. One that was so elite that they had to lie to keep us up out of the playoffs, and that dude was torching that defense. He was torching that defense. And then the second defense we saw him hypothetically play was last season where he went off. So again, I'm not going to say that he's a bad pick, but I'm also not going to sit here and be upset about it until we see what happens with this new scheme. Everything is new. Everything is new. New OC, new system. We're going to have a new O-line. We're going to have new receivers. We're going to have a new defense. We're going to have all of that. So until I see something that happens otherwise, we win in 10 games. We win in the ACC. We run it down on that mess out of Miami. We run it down on that mess in Florida. We're going to spank Clemson. All of that. Until I see something different, I'm going to keep telling these lies, baby. It is lie season. Why we can't come up with these lies now and enjoy it? Why we can't be happy about this? Anybody? Anybody?
I'm with you, man. I looked at Gus Malzahn his first year everywhere. He comes in, he runs the ball, he has a running quarterback, they get a bunch of touchdowns, and they win a bunch of games. I think they're all in. This staff is all in on getting the guys that can build some type of floor to go do something this year. He isn't the prettiest, your best quarterback, but 99% of these guys that are that, your Caden Salters of the world, they're going to want to go somewhere that's going to show off their NFL ability and have a chance to play for a playoff. And Gus Malzahn's offense just doesn't offer that, especially coming off a 2-10. And to my point earlier, Thomas Castellanos, if he can come in and be successful, gets Norvell another year and shows a quarterback that, hey, shit, going in my final year, even though it's not, NFL offense, I could Cam Newton that shit and win a title, et cetera, et cetera. But it has to start somewhere out of a vacuum. A lot of these other guys that you would bring in, you would have to teach the scheme. They would have to have all these bumps ironed out. And yeah, Thomas Castellanos did play in a pro-style offense last year, but it's going to be like a baby slipping into a brand new onesie. Like he's going to be just fine. But yeah, I'm not calling he's going to win a playoff. I'm not sure if I'm at 10 wins is where his tiny hat is, but
that's
the floor immediately jumps up to 6-7 games for me, and he's able to hide things on the offensive line. And if you can run it, you're going to end up having guys wide open. They got these really big wide receivers. Everybody's talking about the UCF offense and stuff. I'm thinking about even older, going back to really the simplistic stuff like the Auburn days. We'll see exactly what it is, but they seem like they have a mission. Herb Hand's already, and we'll get into that next. I'll let y'all finish on this, but he's out here putting like Art of War quotes and stuff. They're wanting to get some guys in here to just get downhill and block and run the football. And you're not going to see many 3, 5, and 7-step drops this year, period, from the quarterback. You'll see some play action and things of that nature. And
RPO.
They're going to move the pocket, and Gus is going to make it very simple for them receivers. This is what I'm saying. So if we know that Gus is going to come in and go back down to the bare bones and the basics, run the ball, proper blocking schemes up front, quick, short routes for the receivers who are prone to dropping the ball, receivers who are prone to running the wrong routes based on what we're seeing with the all-22 film. When we're seeing this, and Gus is coming in with an offensive mind, and he's got a guy who also has an offensive mind that can scheme some shit up. You telling me that him going and getting a quarterback that can run the ball, use his legs in the run game, and can make short, accurate passes to receivers that are cutting across the field, you telling me that this is not something that we're going to want to see at this school, especially after what we just saw? This is going to be simple. This is easy work. I understand we don't have an Arch Manning. I understand we didn't go out and get us a Drake May. I understand that Luke seemed like he was going to be the promise moving forward from there. I get all of that, right? Luke said he don't want to be here. Then go ahead and go about your business. So what do we need to see as a program? We need a quarterback who's a veteran, that has experience, that can run the ball behind an offensive line that may or may not be up to par. We need a quarterback who is accurate enough to hit wide open receivers when they're schemed open, or to run an RPO system that he's familiar with. We got that in a Castellanos. And if they want to go out here and try to find somebody who can do it a little bit better than him, then I don't see the problem with that. But coming off of what we just saw last season, with the quarterback situation that we just saw last year. Luke didn't show me enough to say that he warrants an automatic starting job next season, right? Brock hasn't shown me enough to say that he warrants an automatic starting job next season. So of course you were going to bring in a portal quarterback. If this is the portal quarterback that you chose, okay, cool. If you're not going after somebody else, which is what Jen told us earlier, if that's the case, then that's once again another misstep by Mike Norvell when it comes to the quarterback position. Then we all got something to talk about. But I've been saying this all off season before we knew who the hires were and the fires were going to be. I said Florida State was kicking the can down the road on this thing, depending on what they're doing. They went and got a retread. All right, we said that was going to happen. They filled in these roster spots with people who have NFL experience, but they're recruiters. So all they're doing is bringing these guys in to make this thing as simple as possible, but to get bodies in here, because Mike Norvell is not trying to win 3 years from now. He's got to win next season. And that's why you bring a Castellanos in, to do two things. Number one, to be a veteran presence that can come in, and if you still have your two young quarterbacks that need more time.
This was his last year as well. He's not a redshirt. He's
exactly
a true senior.
Exactly my point. You can see Mike Norvell's thinking on this. I can go get a proven commodity out of Castellanos, bring him in. He can help tutor these guys for one more year. Brock ain't ready. Luke ain't ready. That's what he's saying. You get 1 year, and now those two dudes, Brock has 2 more years left, and Luke has 3 more years left after this. So if he comes in and he can train them up, those guys can get some reps. They come in and they take over next season. You have the best of both worlds there. Luke decided to go on his way. Brock is still here, and then they're looking at the Brady Smigel kid coming out of high school. So
but he's not coming here.
Even if he's not, but that's what we have as a commit at this point.
As of now,
as of right now, he's still in the tank. So if this is Mike looking at it, if you're looking at this objectively from what Mike is doing, I legitimately think that this is what he sees that he has to do in order to save his job for next year. Because I told y'all this before they started firing coaches. Mike only has next season.
He's treading water.
Yes. And then they're going to boot his ass up out of here in 26 if we don't see remarkable improvement next season. That's why you go get a Gus. That's why you go get these recruiters that we're getting. That's why you break this thing down to the bare minimum so that this offense is simple and it is something that can move the ball and put up points to make sure that the season ticket holders fill up that stadium. That's going to be done for next season.
So I got a question in Tiny Hat. So with them kicking the can down the road, man, then this pretty much is saying that Mike is not looking at the long term right now, even with his quarterback room.
Right.
The situation that we're seeing, he doesn't have this is a bad situation. We know the track record. Look at every quarterback he's brought in outside of Jordan, and we know that story. He didn't really want Jordan in a way. He had to get pushed to take that. You took a one-legged quarterback. You took everything you wanted to not to play Jordan. But then you had Chubba Purdy. You had A.J. Duffy. You had Tate Rodemaker. The list goes on, and every one of those particular quarterbacks outside of Jordan has transferred at least twice.
Yeah.
And now you brought in a brand new offensive coordinator with a totally different offense who brought in his own quarterback in the Sperry kid, and you're bringing in Thomas Castellanos. Like, there's only it's all true. It's like, and we talked about this all year long, and that's why his ass is on the hot seat. Like, that's why he's got to go show something this year, because it hasn't translated. The offensive line damn sure ain't translated. As to Jeff Hill's $20 super chat, the most important thing is fix the offensive line. That's the most important. Then get the quarterback, whoever that is, to fit the offensive system. I want what's best for this football team, whoever it is. And I think that's a big part of them just wanting to lock this down as quick as they can to say, hey, look, we got Castellanos. We're going to have something going on here. They've got a bunch of offensive linemen taking a visits and things like that. There's another super chat coming in. See what it says here. Georgie, almost said Jorge, but there's an I in there, so we'll call it Georgie 1999 super chat. If we have less than 8 wins with Castellanos with a competent offense and defense, then I will forever hold this against Mike. By the way, we have a 5-star field general committed for 26. Are we telling him the same thing? I don't know how much communication has gone between them. I don't know if he's gonna be in for this new offense. We're gonna find out. That very well may change, but it's.
I heard he's going to Syracuse.
These are symptoms of like
Michael.
When everybody wanted the offensive coordinators fired and replaced. He probably wouldn't have stayed for the go-go offense either. Like, this is just the nature of the beast. We're going to be after different people at the quarterback position going forward, and there's people like Bud said it like 3 times on the timeline. Like, there's not a ton of guys that's in their pro year of eligibility going to a 2-10 team to run a spread. Like, it's just not going to fucking happen. So we just have to have expectations. Like, I get it. It sucks and it deserves to be bitched about. And I'm not trying to cut everybody off, but Jen, go ahead.
Go
Well,
ahead.
I guess my expectation would be maybe we can double our wins from this year. That's my expectation.
You don't think we
I
can do
don't-
that with Castellanos? We can triple it with him. Quadruple it, I think.
Okay, sure. That's why he was benched at Boston College. So
Right, because Bill O'Brien, the
I-
same guy that benched Jalen Milroe right before his Heisman season. Sorry, I'm being an ass.
Bill O'Brien is a drunk psychopath. And for anybody to sit there and be like, he's the God's gift to coaching is insane after everything he's gone through, but that's fine.
That's the point.
I'll
It's true.
He
be
couldn't
quiet.
coach Milroe. He couldn't coach Castellanos, and they still won
He
7
can't
games.
coach anybody. I mean, I get
Yeah,
it, but
I agree.
like Castellanos ain't okay. Again, I'm just gonna go back to the Boston College game from last year. It's either it was a flu game or he's super good. Which one is it? Because this year, were they good? Did they beat us? Of course, everybody did. Of course. It didn't make him great. It made us terrible. We were terrible this year. Last year we weren't. So which one is it? Is he super good? Do we have the flu that year? Or which one is it? I just need to know.
Right. In all honesty, Jen, it's a combination of both. They were better than we were, and we were absolute ass this year. That's what it was. If we were to play, because again, my team was in Europe, so that's just what it was. So I'm with you on that. But I want to answer Deshawn's question because he asked the question, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people are missing when it comes to this Castellanos pickup. He asked if Mike is looking towards the future. He can't. The man just came off of a 2-win season after he told everybody all off season that this was going to be the best team that he's had since he's been at Florida State. So he already did something that he had not done prior to that, which was he set expectations high. Everything you heard about Mike Norvell from the moment he walked in until the beginning before last season was that he tempered expectations and he was spot on with what he had. That's what he did. And last year, there was pressure for them to try to push this team, to try to get to the playoff, to win the ACC. They saw all of this stuff happening, and they tried to go all in, and he fell flat on his face. So he has no choice but to win right now. And he knows that he has to win right now because the fan base is already turned on him after one season of you went undefeated. You won 10 games, you won 13 games, and then you turn around and you win 2. Fan base is turned on them. Season ticket holders are pissed off and holding out on it. We see the problems that people are already saying where they're canceling their NIL bread left and right. You hear people like Jen who actually do put their money up for this stuff, and they're saying, F this, I'm not going to do this because I don't even know what the hell's going on. And when you hear this over and over, Mike can't look that far down the road. He's got to look to next season. So if you know that you have to base what you're going to do as a head football coach of this program, and you have to base what you're going to do for this program off of next season, are you going to put that in the hands of a Luke Kromenhoek? Or are you going to do that with a Castellanos who can come in on a very simple scheme that he already knows, with a coach that he's already comfortable with, an OC that he's already comfortable with, in a system that he's already run? I can see why he did it, and it makes sense to me why he did it. I understand that people aren't happy with it because they've seen Castellanos look like ass, but a lot of people are basing all of Castellanos' stuff off of 2 years ago. Remember, this ain't the Castellanos from 2 years ago. Last year, he was decent. He was okay last year. He was serviceable, and that's what Mike is betting on. He was betting on bringing in a serviceable quarterback with experience to help this program win 6-7 games, right? Get to a bowl. And he was saying, my young guys will be in behind them. The young guys can take over after that. We can get another off season with these kids, and we can get another season under their belt before we have to throw them into the fire.
But
one of them said, I'm out.
But we're jaded because the same thing you're saying is the same shit we sat here and said about DJU last year. And it kicked us in our ass. Yes, it is. We were talking about
ACC championships and booking hotels and shit.
But we were talking about 3 to what ratio. We were talking about all we need was this. We don't need him to do but do this.
That part, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
It's all fair.
Wash, rinse, and fucking repeat. That's what.
That's a fucking college football game, though. I mean, that's just what it is in 2000. 24.
Right, but we also said that about DJU, thinking that DJ was going to be able to run.
We thought we were gonna have an
DJ
offensive
won't
line that was gonna be
run.
able to fucking block. That's what it all comes down to.
That's what I'm saying.
Again,
So going into that season, that's what we said. He's going to have the O
But
line.
that motherfucker is fired and on down the road. We got some new coordinators to talk about. Florida State has made it official with Gus Malzahn, official with Tony White. We find out not only did Tony White make a lateral move according to Nebraska, but he took a pay cut to come to Florida State, a whopping $100,000. It's not really a pay cut if you read into the specifics of it. It's all to offset Florida State paying his buyout from Nebraska, things of that nature. He's bringing home $1.5 million. Same thing for Gus Malzahn, who's making like $200,000 on a base salary, but it's separated into 1.3 extra this year, and then it'll go to like 2.3 the next year, and then 2.6 the next year. So if he makes it, his contract set up where he'll be making close to $3 million if this thing works out, and he's here till 26 or 27. But they're totally locked in. The latest one, since we've actually had a show that we've been kind of sweating, Herb Hand is finally officially the offensive line coach. And regardless how we all disagree and agree on Thomas Castellanos and Luke leaving and everything, I think we're all happy to have the offensive line coach in there. And hopefully, whatever, whether you like it or not, they get Castellanos to maybe commit tomorrow. I forget the guy's name. There's a Marcellus guy from UCF coming in to officially visit this week. A buttload of different people from smaller, places with a ton of experience, high grades at the offensive line. I don't know how many they end up bringing. It'll probably be 5 or 6. But getting Hand locked in was, really big for me. We don't have to talk too much about Gus Malzahn. We put a lot of time there, but I guess we can start with Deshawn on this one. How are you feeling about where the staff is and the coordinators that we got locked in now? And we'll save the wide receiver part for next.
All right. As far as Gus, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We know what we're getting. I'll just say this, and then I'll move on to the defensive side. If Mike or if he runs tempo, then I can deal with a little bit more because I expect more tempo out of his offense. We saw it in the past. I hope he sprinkles in some of that old Auburn shit and also a little bit more of opening it up a little bit more with the tempo. Like I said, hit gas. I mean, they kind of stopped it, but I still would like to see tempo. On Tony White, I'm intrigued because Florida State hasn't run any three-man front defense in a very long time, and Mickey kind of sprinkled it in a little bit in the early 90s. So it'll be interesting to see the 3-3-5 and the personnel. Now, I threw out earlier certain personnel that would fit, and then a few days later, certain personnel that would fit is in the fucking portal. So hey, more's coming. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Tony White can do. I'm very intrigued about Pot Roast, his hiring, knowing what we're going to be able to get and the production from the defensive line. I'm really interested in seeing Sampson and Lyons. Definitely denies White. That's one who's definitely zero right over the center. Yeah. Guy, 330 pounds. That's the kind of guy we want to play in that spot. And then lastly, the safety. Hey, what he do in his personal life ain't got nothing to do with me. As long as my safeties is picking him off, he can go smash as many co-heads as he wants to. It ain't got shit with me. A famous fullback says it. I don't care who you're fucking, as long as you ain't fucking me, we good.
Yeah, we got a little something about our DB coaches. When Jeremy Pruitt was in here chasing tail, we were doing just good. So I'm fine with it. I'm good with Evan Cooper, all the rumors, whatever. We're just picking. Happy to have you in here. I love the theme of the coaching staff. I think it's pretty vitriolic over on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, I mean, everything lines up beautifully with who they brought in. All guys with NFL experience, all guys that kind of know how it goes between Knighton, Evan Cooper, the next guy we're going to talk about being rumored in there. You mentioned the 3-3-5 and how it could work. The James Simmons guy that comes from Nebraska who talked about how Pot Roast is pretty much his father, or James Williams, number 90, the big old white boy. He had I think 8 tackles for loss and 5 sacks or something last year as a redshirt freshman, something like that, talking out of my ass here. But anyways, there's a lot of interesting pieces. I think this defensive staff is I think they really knocked it out of the freaking park. Any thoughts, Jen, Deshawn, on those hires and the staff before we start talking about the possibility of the final position getting filled out?
I got a question for Tiny after Jen goes. Go ahead, Jay. I got a question.
Well, one thing I was going to say is the reason we lost Luke, and something I said for at least 2 years, and I was told by exactly the same people like this idiot Brandon Gibson wants to say that I don't know ball. I said for 2 years, Alex Atkins of this offensive line was garbage. It was trash. It wasn't doing anything. They weren't being developed. It was disgusting. I also said after watching the Georgia Tech game, they weren't going to win another fucking game. Now, did they actually beat Cal and who else was it? Charleston South or whatever bullshit it was? Sure. But
Hypothetically.
again, was I right or was I right about it? Yes, I was. So, motherfucker, I was right. You're wrong. I bet you money this motherfucker sits at home and goes, Alex Atkins is really good. He's like our best recruiter. He's so fantastic. He's like the best coach. We would have had Thomas Solomon if it wasn't for him. Thomas Solomon would have flipped on signing day if we'd kept his sorry ass. I can guarantee you all of it. So stop. Stop it. Stop it. Don't just sit there because a woman doesn't agree with you and say she don't know ball. Guess what I do know? I know who's being fucking hired. I know about all these things. So just be quiet. Shut the fuck up, dude.
Talk to him.
Shut up.
Come at Jen at your own risk.
I mean, by the way,
gonna get-
whoever Luigi Giuseppe is too, your ass is on my radar too. I'll be after you soon too.
Whoa, we don't need to
So
talk
I
about no
just
Luigi's right
don't
now.
need this. Like I'm fucking playing Mario Kart over here. You know what I mean? What the hell's
Yeah,
going
Hey,
on?
we got a CEO in the building. Doug
Yes,
McCoven.
we don't need no,
Doug
Luigi,
McCoven,
no Luigi,
yeah.
no Luigi, no Luigi.
Yanni has a good point here. It reminded me of something we started to hit on, and we all went past with the emotions and stuff. But he says, "I like the staff hires, but why did Hand take so long?" So Hand, I think he was in the running for that UCF job. Seeing that end up going to Scott Frost, the retread of all retreads, and then they get KZ to come be like the quarterbacks coach. Like, yeah, I think he was firmly actually in that job to get the UCF job. As soon as that went to Scott Frost, I think that's what ended up putting him at Florida State. And I know Jen has the inside scoop on that stuff a lot of times.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I told you guys last week maybe that the reason Hand was maybe taking a little longer is because at the end of the day, I think he was in on that job. And I think it was more of a look to keep who they had on their team and their recruiting class. Because those kids actually really respect him. The parents respect him. And they were looking at that as if it was, I'm not saying a last resort, but you know what I mean? I think that's exactly how it was playing out is that, they wanted to keep their team together. They wanted to keep recruits. And that was just kind of if they couldn't get anybody that it was almost to me like a Ryan Silverfield at Memphis. That's exactly what it was.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it did come out like he was kind of still pursuing or looking around. So it was presented from where I had like he came back here because it was like his last, the feelers weren't necessarily what he was expecting.
I think he did get some good feelers. I think the SMU offensive line coach was a good one. I think when they got mistakenly added to the college football playoff, that kind of cut off those communications. And yeah, I just said it and I don't care. I'm not rooting for SMU unless I'm on my deathbed. And I wouldn't even do it then. So go Penn State, go Lions. I'm going to say it again. And, but yeah, I think that's what it was. I think he still looked, but I think that's why it actually took so long. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he fell off of Herb Hand. That's where I would go.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. There was also rumors about the SMU coach, so that could have possibly played in something into it than going forward. But I think it was more the original like concept there. Anything on the coordinators before we get into the next guy? We can start with whoever has the inside scoop on this. This popped up. I think Jen noticed a tweet by somebody and put me onto it along with a couple people in my DMs, and then reaching out again to fit the theme of the defensive, field. This guy,
I kind of thought it would be done
Underwood.
today.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be done today.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there is some media time for some interviews tomorrow, so maybe look for it tomorrow. This could be a dripping out of good news. I think it's a PR strategy, maybe, possibly.
So you feel
Today's a
pretty
bad
confident that it's
day.
done, Jen?
No.
No.
No, I would never say it's
Done.
done.
Well,
No.
obviously not 100%, but I'm just saying the way you were putting. I didn't know if you like they got it done. They're just waiting to put it up. Just making sure.
Yeah, no, I would say I would look for the wide receiver coach, of course, to come out here pretty soon. If it's not done by Friday, then we're fucked.
We're moving on to another one, kicking the can down the road again.
Or you just haven't had anybody say yes.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Because, yeah.
You're
So-
now down to what, your third guy? We know two. You get Marcus Davis at Auburn, Pauly at Iowa State, and then Waffle House, basically.
I am stunned that Pauly was such a high choice. I don't know. I mean, I don't
It was
know about
surprising to
anybody
me.
else. It's very Clemson wide receiver. It's giving those vibes. I don't understand it. We live in
Wait a
the
minute,
South.
Clemson now or Clemson 5-6 years ago? Because I think
Clemson now.
20 years ago. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's a
Clemson
big
now. I don't. Again, I'm not being mean, but the wide receiver coach from Iowa State, like, let's be for real. Come on, everybody knows that's giving you white Clemson wide receiver vibes. You know it. Don't look at me like I'm being crazy. Look at Tiny; he's over there laughing. You know I'm right.
Look,
No,
Come on
I
now.
can't lie. I don't know shit about the guy, but Iowa State, yes, that does not. What's it? Matt Campbell that's been there. He's been like rumored to be the hot coach every 5 years. It's back to Matt Campbell. Where's he going to go? Nope, I'm signing another contract. I don't know
And
anything
now
about the
he's
guy. I kind of
SOL.
skipped right
He
over that one.
is SOL.
Man, who the hell want Matt Campbell? That boy look like he shoot dip all day long. Like, get his ass the hell up out of here. You ain't bringing me no solid work over here, man.
I don't think he elevates
over
elite level program to a
hell no.
Yes, he's in his lane. That's his wheelhouse right there.
Hell no.
Yeah,
I need somebody who's gonna get me some dogs at receiver. Somebody who's gonna go find me an Anquan Bolden, a Raw Shaw, even somebody who can go and get me a Rashad Green types. Like, give me somebody who can run routes, who's dependable, who got hands. That's what I need. I think
100% with the rest of the people they brought on their staff. If you could get him, out of the NFL, knowing what it means with the experience, also on the college side, all that stuff, it would be a home run. But we're not going to bullshit you and say we have some kind of inside. It's just it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
And I've said all along, like, we've been pretty good on these hires, just predicting them and going with information. But on this one, there's just been so many names. There's the 3 main names that Deshawn listed, and there's been 10 other names, out there for it. So we'll see what happens. This one, between, Hakeem retweeting it, and there hasn't been anybody come out and deny it. Like, we're going to see. And if we get it tomorrow, that'd be amazing. But yeah.
It's funny, though, because we mentioned this in the space last week when we went down a list of names of certain receivers at the time when we were still on Marcus Davis. And his name did pop up because we looked at some of the production while he was at Pitt. I think he's with, the Patriots right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's another player, position coach that would have NFL experience to add to. But as long as my receivers can run routes and catch the ball, that's what matters first and foremost, then blocking. So,
hey, hold on. Momo saying that Norvell is the wide receivers coach. Ain't no way in hell. I do not want Norvell being a position coach at all. I understand he played wide receiver, but no. Norvell needs to be in full-on CEO mode. Let them boys go out there and do their job, and you need to be able to step in every once in a while and make a decision here or there. I do not need my head coach being a position coach. He is not Saban coaching DBs. And even when Saban was coaching DBs, he still had a DBs coach. Like, I do not need that at all. So, no, Mike needs to go get him a wide receivers coach. We need a linebackers coach, even though I'm pretty sure I was hearing people saying that the DC is the linebackers coach as well. No. We need to expand this staff. There needs to be a solid position coach for every single one of these positions, specifically the ones where we've had all of these problems, like O-line, D-line, linebacker, and wide receiver. We definitely position.
You get the head coach, and then you get 10 assistant coaches. They're going to fill all those holes. They're going to hire a wide receivers coach. The way I think it plays out on defense, you probably get like you said, Tony White's going to coach linebackers, and also part of that responsibility probably goes to Pat Puchis. I think they're probably filled out of there. We'll see. If they bring in a linebackers coach and move him off the field as just a special teams coordinator, I'm all for it. We're going to see. But the way it seems like, has there been any smoke about a linebacker coach coming in here? We'll see if they move up Ernie Sims or what they do. Everybody I've asked just says, I have no idea. They don't even have a conversation to come back with.
It's all rumors right now, but from the Coral Gables side, they're acting like they're about to lose some people off their staff, in particular on the side of the ball. And we asked a question, and one particular could be heading this way, but that's just rumors, and I'm gonna keep it that way. You know, that's why I was going to.
We'd love to get D-Nick in here. It's been rumored and off again and on again. What are the numbers? You got Tony White, okay. You got Pat Surtain. You've got Evan Cooper. You've got Terrence Knight. There's only one spot left, so you're either pushing Pap off the staff. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're going to have 6 coaches on defense, and Norvell is going to coach wide receivers. You know what I mean? It's just, it's curious. I'm surprised they haven't given Papuchis a title, but it obviously means I don't know. You got to work out that 10 coach number, or maybe talk somebody into coaching off the field. I don't know. Maybe Pat would take that, because you can coach special teams without recruiting. You know,
I
think Guidry and that whole staff gets fired after the Pop-Tart Bowl.
You think? I don't know, bro. If they were going to do that, you think they would have pulled the trigger on that by now?
No. I think Miami is going to tell Mario, this is a Dabo situation. This is a Mike Norvell situation. Look, Mario spent $20 million to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. Look, I'm telling you, he's going to have to fire some staff again. Imagine this. His first year, he had to fire a bunch of staff members. I mean, how many times do you have to do it? I think Guidry is getting fired. And have I heard the other things that Deshawn was referring to? 100%. I think that if that comes to fruition, you would look at a co-DC title with that. And I think the fan base would enjoy it. I think it would be a great PR move. And I would not be surprised if it happened, but you'd have to wait until after the bowl game.
It would be a schematic fit too, because of that particular defense. He coaches a 3-man, 3-4 type defense, so it would blend right in and give you more multiple looks. So I don't have a problem at all.
Just the only thing, and again, to my point earlier, that gives me pause is there's not a single person of every person I've talked to, they've all said 100% Papucci stays. So unless that changed, I just don't know how they're going to figure that shit out. Like, you're not going to run out Surtain. You're not going to run out any of the new guys you hired. So maybe I don't know. Is that just me? Have y'all not gotten that sentiment that, like, Pap's staying no matter what?
I think he could take an off the field role.
Okay.
You know, I've also heard the narrative about the special teams is not so much we're giving him more credit than we should. Because there's actually other coaches and analysts that have worked with those kickers and punters as much, if not more, than he has. That he's kind of getting a little bit more credit than he deserves in that area.
Oh, hell no. If that's the case, then get his ass off my staff. What? Nah, hell no. If that's the case, then Pap need to go ahead and get his ass up out the paint, because you were defensive ends and special teams, and are you telling me that analysts were the ones doing all of the work? Nah, bro. Bro. You can get him up out the paint. My defensive ends were lackluster at best last season, hypothetically, if they were to play a game. And if you telling me the special teams was the best unit on the field, and he wasn't even the one that was spearheading that, then what are you here for? What are you here for? I don't want to hear that at all. I don't want to hear that at all. Get his ass out the paint.
Yeah, and again, like, I was one of the vocal people, like, if you want to keep Odell as one of the other, at least give me somebody young, an NFL guy that's going to do the recruiting. Like, he's kind of a youth minister, type of guy. You had the development on the transfers and the guys you had up until this year when the defensive ends were absolutely awful. Yeah, if he's not responsible for the special teams as we thought he was, then that's a big problem. It was just kind of surprising to me how locked in everybody I've talked to has been about Papuchis. So now that we've hired up our staff to this point, and okay, now D-Nick, or maybe you're looking at getting a linebacker coach. It will be curious to see how that plays out. And we'll definitely keep you guys up to date on it, of course.
Man, Ryan Blackman, go sit down somewhere, bro. We ain't no 5-win team next year. I done told you we win in 10 games. And if you're not on this we win in 10 games track, then get the hell out of here, sir. Okay? We win in 10
5
games.
wins? Hey, like I said earlier, 5 wins, we win because you win if you want Mike gone because there's going to be a new coach in here. If we can win 10, we win because we're going to be set up to make a run the next year.
Hey,
this is what I'm saying. This is why I came in here. This is why I came in here on the type of time I came in on. You're either A, going to win a whole bunch of games and it's going to be fire and this is going to be great, or B, you're going to be in a complete trash bag situation again, and then you can go ahead and get him up out the paint the way y'all been clamoring to get him up out the paint for years. So either way, it is a win-win, baby. It is a win-win for us out here, okay? I'm with it. Either way it goes, I'm with it.
Facts on top of facts. E. Regis says, which wide receiver coach are we talking about? The latest rumor is Taquan Underwood. He's currently coaching as an assistant DB's coach with the Patriots. So we got some recruits. We're going to pull up. We're almost at an hour here. Figure we'll go ahead and pull up the list of exits and things. It hasn't popped up on my end yet. I don't know if you've got to share it again or whatever, but we'll get that pulled up here in a second with all the guys that have exited the portal thus far and maybe a couple guys that we're looking at. If you have any questions, super chats, anything like that, now's the time to get them off. Jen, while we get this pulled up, if there's anything on your mind, Tiny Hat, that we haven't talked about.
That boy said, am I going to eat my hat again? You damn right I'm going to offer to eat my hat again. We going to win these games, all right? We going to win these games. You see this hat right here? This ain't even one. I took one of my hats to the cleaners. All right. This is the one that I would. This is my everyday hat. When you wait till y'all see me next season, I'm gonna come up here with a hat and be like, yeah, I've been telling lies all off season, and I'm still gonna keep telling these lies. I'm standing on these lies, baby. We win in 10 games next year. And if we don't win 10 games, then oh the hell well. Then oh the hell well.
Yeah, that was totally on me, Deshawn, with the best producer in the game, as Tiny Hat says. Not today, anyways. But yeah, we'll get that pulled up. Georgie with another $4.99 super chat says the real question we need to be asking ourselves is what portal we go after next year. It's a very good point, to what I was saying.
Somebody come to what I was
Thomas
saying.
Castellanos has to freaking run so we can fly next year with whoever. We're gonna get our Cam Newton. It's coming. We're gonna get our Justice.
Hey, Georgie said get Luke. Hey, yo, Georgie ain't shit for that.
Man, we can bring Deuce Span back now.
Oh, see, come on, yo. Let me put my hat.
Agreed. Let's do it. Make it happen. Manifest this. Manifest it. What about AJ Duffy? He hit the portal today. What's going on there?
Hey, y'all wilding out here now, man. Come on, dog.
We can just let him stay out west and hit the bars up out there. He's good.
Hey, look.
I see we lost George, but as we see, y'all, I'll give you a list of the names. If George, we can mention the names that are currently in the portal. It's Deuce Span, Dante Anderson, Byron Turner, Jackson West, Malachi Minzer, Tamawa Dorjaye, Omarion Cooper, Omar Graham, Dante Anderson, Xavier Perkins, Destin Hill, Lamont Green, Julian Mella, Brian Courtney, Darian Williamson, Jarrell Powers, DeMarco Ward, Luke Kromenhoek, and Dylan McNamara.
Can we talk about Destin Hill for a minute? Can we talk
they're
about
currently
Destin Hill?
listed as of now. We can.
Let's discuss. Right. I mean, I've heard apparently he was very close with Greedy Vance. That's what some of this is. Mm-hmm. But can anybody else explain it to me?
What, Destin Hill?
Mike Norvell saved a spot for him for years.
Yeah, for like 2 years.
I've heard 5 letters. 5 letters. BOGGS. That's what happened. Younger, better, same position. I mean, you're coming off an injury, and again, you're putting your hands into a new offense and things of that nature. I hate it.
I've
It
heard
sucks
other
he got
things
hurt,
that-
man. It really does.
other things that-
I was so excited for him. I thought he would have been great this year, but I think it's just how many slot guys are going to get fed in this offense this year?
I think that him hitting the portal was probably the epitome for me saying this shit is over. Seriously.
As
Yeah.
in for Mike. As in this shit over for Mike, because
Oh man! You trying
No,
to
just
say
the
Jeff want
game,
that
the whole
drive,
game
huh?
itself. The
Oh.
game itself. Like, seriously, this coach sat there and held a fucking scholarship for him, didn't disclose what the issues were. Nobody ever did, by the way. They sat on it, they held it. And by the way, what kind of media holds any of these stories ever unless they're fucking threatened to?
No, he was a minor. Those
I-
records are hidden, and he was a minor at the time. Let's
Fine,
not
sure,
talk about his
sure,
personal
sure,
issues,
sure.
Okay, let's stay away
I
from
get
that
it.
one. Okay.
I get
No, but
it.
we don't have to do that because what we're not going to do is
Nobody's
we don't
doing
know
that.
he was a minor. Okay, so let's stay out of that. And then I've also heard some other things said as far as his injury and some things that were disclosed, and he was told that he possibly could have played, and he should have played. He was upset about that. Since we want to put it out there,
He was a
Just-
minor when he graduated from high school?
yes. Don't you graduate at 17, 18 years old? That's still a minor.
18.
It's
That's
still
not
a
a
minor.
minor.
He's still okay. He graduated young. Why you think he came in when he showed up on campus? How old was he?
I want to say he was like 17.
He
No,
didn't
he
show up
when
on
he-
campus.
When he
no,
showed
when
up
he
to
originally-
last year, when he showed up last year, his age was still 19 years old,
He was still young.
and he'd been out of high school for two
For 2
fucking
years.
years, Chin. So that
Yeah.
tells you how old he
Okay.
was.
Look, again, his scholarship was held. This was kind of a bullshit move, but fine. Okay. I guess I'm being an asshole.
No, I'm just saying certain personal things like that because we don't know. We don't want to do that because we can steer beliefs that he.
I'm only saying what I was saying is that it was nice that nobody ever released it, and that never fucking happens. Media
but we don't even
always
have to
runs
touch
with
on
shit.
that particular. Yeah, they do, but I understand. I was just saying. All I'm saying with Destin Hill, there's so many different rumors connected to that.
Mhm.
The
I
part
don't know
about his-
any rumors about him, nor have I ever
Exactly.
perpetrated any. All I'm saying is,
No, I'm not talking about the high school part. I'm talking about the current reason of why he's in the portal now.
sure, I don't really care. I just think it's a little strange that somebody would hold a scholarship for years, sit on stories, not leak anything, and then be so loyal to somebody, and then for him to go, fuck off, have a good one, I'm going elsewhere. Good for you.
Hey, we move. It happens all the time.
I mean, I get it.
Welcome to college football 2025. Like you said, it's over. It's
Like
what
you
we
said,
grew up on. The
But
college football we
again-
started on is all over. It's a new age.
Here's what I will say. If everybody gets to do what they want and it's go get your money, go do this, then guess what? Fans are allowed to have an opinion. That's the end of the story.
Yeah. Okay,
Nobody
I
should
can
be
agree.
told they're trash or anything else because they have an opinion on stuff they send their hardworking money for every month. That's how I would go with it. I mean, I'm sorry. If you're getting $800,000 to play a game and you win 2 games, you're going to get criticized by fans
That's true.
who send in their hard-earned money. So that's it. That's what I would say. And I'm sorry that Destin felt like he got his feelings hurt. The fans sat here, sent money into an NIL, allowed him to be paid for 3 goddamn years, waiting on him to get here. And then when he gets here, I'm sorry, I'm hurt. Wow. Amazing. We got our money's worth. Have fun. Enjoy your time going to wherever, probably Georgia.
If
Have a
he
good
go to
one.
Georgia, I'm gonna be pissed.
Where do you think Luke's going?
You think Luke going
Who
to Georgia?
cares? You know what? Let's just be honest here. Who fucking cares? Georgia had a higher fucking drop rate than we did, and we saw that atrocious shit we had in the wide receivers room. So I'm not even going to worry about that, Jen. We're in a model of an NFL thing. It's amazing how us as fans, we as fans, and particularly this fan base, get fucking pissed off about what we see in the off season on Saturday, but we applaud the shit on Sunday. This is football now. It is. History has shown us people do not like change. They always fight change. People love the horse until the automobile. What did? They fought it. That's a great analogy for it. This is where we're at football. Deal with it or don't fucking watch it.
It goes back to where we were at when this very first thing started, when the season was going on. And we all talked about this and we all become victims of it as it happens. But we all sat right here and we said, look, this is a 2-10 ball club. They're whatever Tiny Hat says, they're hot breath on ass or fucking stink on shit or whatever it is.
Wait, hold on. I ain't never said nobody had hot breath on ass. Hey, hold on,
bouncing
bro.
on ass or whatever it is that you say. Okay, this is what this is. The team was sorry. So there ain't no piece on this thing that is holier than thou. That's gonna be bigger than the rebuild. The more motherfuckers that hit the portal, whether you like it or not, or it's just gonna be a new thing.
Exactly.
If they fail out, if they don't get enough people in here, we're going to be screwed. But hey, we're living and dying with Gus Malzahn and this 3-3-5 that they're bringing in. If we can just run the damn ball, it's going to be a lot of fun. We appreciate everybody, all the super chats, all the questions. I think we've pretty much hit on anything, but I will give everybody a chance to plug what they got going on, or if they got any more. We'll keep going if there's more talking. We got 520 people in here. Tiny Hat, go ahead. You look, you're raring to go.
Nah. So R. Wilmer said any O lineman. That's the next thing we waiting on, bro. We got the O line coach. We got the OC. Now I want to see what they do with this O-line room. That's the number one need. Everybody can crab about the quarterback. You can say what you want. But if ain't nobody in front of that motherfucker to hike the ball, to block properly, then you can't run the ball properly. You can't pass the ball properly. And we see what that looks like when you have a shitty O-line, which is what we saw hypothetically this last season if there was a season played. So I want to see who they go in and get out of this portal. I want to see what they get coming up for the late signing period. I want to see what they go out here and do with some of these transfers. That's what I'm looking at. So everybody can be up in arms about Castellanos. I'm not worried about none of that. I want to see what these trenches look like. I want to see what Pot Roast going to be able to do, and I want to see what Herbie Hancock going to be able to do when he get his ass in here and get his shit going. So the trenches is where we need to be focusing. Y'all can be dazzled by all of the other shit, Destin Hill and the running back, we got Chroma and we got this and that. If the trenches are not solidified, then all of this is for naught, and we will be looking for a new head coach in 2026. That's just where it is. So
Georgie says, use this $1.99 to start the NIL fund for our next quarterback. I will make
that money
on the 25th when I send out my
sending them money.
We'll get it. We'll get that to battle
them money. Ugh.
Hey,
makes me sick.
Listen, Jen she is showing entirely too much shoulder for them to be wasting her $33 a month. All right. I'm gonna need y'all to do what y'all need to do, okay? Because if she's throwing out this $33 and she got all this shoulder,
33, if only, I would not be this angry.
Okay,
I would not be this angry for a measly.
You're right. No. Well, she throwing out her $68.22. She is subscribed to the Battles in OnlyFans page. So I'm gonna need y'all to do something with her money that she is out here donating to y'all. All right, Ingram, you better come out here and start showing off your own shoulder meat. You better come out here and do something, bro. Because right now we not seeing what we need to see out here on this field, Playboy. All right. Go ahead and open your pop 2 more buttons on the top. Let some of that hamburger meat fly on your chest, bro. Because if Jen is out here flashing us all of that shoulder meat, then we need to make sure that you're doing right by her with her $74.68. All right. She is paying a whole Boost Mobile bill for y'all. And y'all out here watching. Let's make sure that we on point. All right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like and the sub. I never do that like, subscribe stuff, but please do that if you will. Hit the like and the sub. We take memberships as well. We don't do a ton of members only content. We were planning to do a bunch of that this year with watch alongs and stuff, but it was all we could do to muster out the bare fucking minimum in the 2-10 hellscape. So we got lucky to do some different guests and stuff. We may bring some members only content, but feel free to sign up. But just the free thing is like and subscribe. Deshawn, you got something going on? You want to let them know to check out Dope Talk? No, not Dope Talk. Excuse me. The Daily Chop.
I'm PJ. Yes, the Daily Chop. We're either going to shoot tomorrow night or noon on Thursday. I'll find out for sure, and y'all be on the lookout on the timeline on Twitter. Look, also on YouTube, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Double D's Let's Talk Ball podcast. We're going to be starting that back up soon. We got a meeting this Friday to talk about that. Of course, tap in with my boy D from D's Corner, DSCORNER. And one more thing to add with Ingram Smith. If this shit don't work, Ingram gonna be on that corner like Peter Griffin was with that damn, what's the name? How much you want a Cleveland Steamer? That's what's gonna happen. You're looking for money.
That boy gonna be out here flashing calf meat. You know he was arrested. Have his calf meat out.
Tiny Hat and Jen, I think there's a little bit of confusion when people show up on Mondays. I keep seeing in the chats. So let the folks know exactly what y'all do on Mondays and how it's not an FSU football information podcast. It's for everybody to get these jokes, equal opportunity. Guys, it's literally called The Roast. It's got a big thing up there that says the Renegade Roast. People want to get you to come in here like, I need my information. I need the latest information. And they watch that and they get pissed off and they leave comments. It's like, dude, it's called The Roast. Mondays, 8:30 Eastern. What y'all got planned? What do y'all do over there, Tiny Hat?
Listen, if y'all liked how Jen was just firing up an old boy that's named after some ugly ass Italian shoes in this chat, in this episode, Jen be going off on Monday nights, all right? She be letting them motherfuckers have it. And that's all we do. We roast anybody. We talk wild reckless about everybody in college football. We just had all of the Bama fans upset. We had Texas fans in there getting mad. I was shitting all over some A&M dude. I was out there tagging his whole program, letting them know that he is embarrassing their institution because they are not out here getting their shit right. They are not educating the youth of America properly because that dude could not make inferences. He couldn't read properly. He didn't understand what he was reading, none of that. So we talk about everybody. It's not just Florida State. It just so happened that if this team were to play this year again, hypothetically, then we had to roast our own damn squad all season long. So it was fantastic, and we always do that every Monday night.
We even got into father-son relationships last night to discuss the fact that Kirk Herbstreit's own son hates his guts. Like, I didn't, that's not our fault, but we discussed it. That has nothing to do with Florida State. I mean
yeah. Even Dabo had his son go to Clemson. Like, Kirk's son was like, I don't want your life,
Kirk's
Dad.
other son went to Clemson. You know where the Kirk's kids didn't go? Ohio State. Not one of them. He's got like 8 boys. I'm kidding. I think he has 4. But I'm just saying, like, all these kids, one goes to Michigan and then posts it through Hayes Fawcett. Are you kidding? And he's a walk-on. This is some sad shit. That kid hates his daddy.
Yeah.
Look at that Moxon. Hey, Dad.
Shout out to William Green in the chat for Hater of the Year. This guy shows up to every podcast I'm on, whether it's Voice of College Football here, whether it's a roast. And, dude, you have got a strong hate in your heart for Florida State in any take. I mean, he'll hate on one take and he'll hate on the opposite take with equal opportunities. So shout out to you.
That's that loser Miami fan, right?
I don't know what exactly he is.
I blocked him from my
Hater of the Year.
I can't see his sorry ass.
Wait, hold on. William Green wants to talk about 4 and 8. Hey, William, listen, you know the numbers 4 and 8 very well because 4 is the number of positions I had your mama in, and 8 is the number of strokes, hard, long strokes that I gave to your mama in them 4 positions. All right, you should be very well versed. All right,
wow.
If anybody in the chat, I'm telling you right now, you want to make some money, set up a lemonade stand outside of William Green's mama's room, and you'll make $1,500 every weekend like clockwork. I know this because I got all the cash to prove it. It is a tried and true commodity. They come out of there sweaty, shirts be stuck all to them. They be looking like that dude who came out of the room with Forrest Gump mama. Your son, your mama really care about your education, boy. That's exactly how I do outside of William Green mama John. I'm telling you right now. Pull up on Monday nights. We got this all day. Every day.
Yeah. So I was about to say, Tiny just showed what we do on Monday nights. That's it.
Pretty much.
There you go.
There you go. So make sure you're here. We'll be back here Friday, of course, at 7 Eastern. I'll be on the Voice of College Football Wednesday at 5 Eastern, but every Monday, 8:30 Eastern. That's the roast. Go ahead. I'm gonna read out some names. What do you got, Tiny?
Yeah, and don't forget the daily. Pull up to the Daily Chop, man. Them boys are hilarious. They out here. Deshawn, you gonna see Deshawn there. Your boy pop up every once in a while. Have to get some of these lies off. Them boys are doing firework over there. Fantastic content.
Appreciate it, brother.
Definitely pull up to the Daily Chop as well. And then, of course, we ain't even gonna, pull up to the Renegade Report. You never know when the big dog is sliding through.
Definitely.
G is out here doing work. That boy G is out here getting all of his lies off, fighting. He's standing on them lies like he's Slim Charles. And every once in a while, I'll come in and I'll help them out. When they say the price of the brick going up, Slim Charles over here is fighting to get the price back down. That's just what it is. All right, we doing this for Joe. We doing this for Joe.
Beautifully said. And I second that. Make sure you check out the Daily Chop. They have a lot of fun over there. They do it the Costa Nostra style. They're all equal partners, and they all have a lot of fun with it. It's something to juggle, and I'm a big fan of it. They'll definitely keep growing. We'll give some shout outs, and we'll get out of here, and we'll see y'all next time. Giuseppe LaRocca, IRL, Encyclopedia, Daryl Drain, Causing Hell in the UF blogs, Noel Fan 1893, William McMillian, Yanni, R. Wilmer, as always, Ricky Goodman, shouting out Jen's looks, Georgie, who's been on it with the super chats tonight, James Williams, that's our defensive end from Nebraska, hopefully in here hanging out, loving the show, Chris Cruz, KP's always in the chat, of course. I think that's about it. We'll get you guys on the next one. Again, we'll be here Friday, 7 Eastern, and it's all about the Noles. We might as well end with the roast clip just to talk shit about Bama one more time for you guys.
Get that.
First off, fuck Bama in the road tide. Fuck Tuscaloosa in every city that's close by.